What if everything you believed about attraction was a carefully constructed lie? The truth is, attraction is not a choice. It is a deeply wired biological program running beneath your conscious awareness. Every glance, every heartbeat, every unexplainable pull toward another person is orchestrated by ancient neural circuits you cannot override. Today, we are going to expose the psychological machinery that secretly controls who you desire and who desires you. Here is the first secret most people will never accept: attraction begins with biology, not personality. Research from the University of Bern found that women are subconsciously drawn to the scent of men whose immune system genes differ most from their own. This is called the MHC compatibility effect. Your nose is literally sniffing out genetic fitness without your brain ever knowing. You think you chose your partner, but your ancient survival programming chose for you. Now let us talk about the most powerful dark psychology principle in attraction: scarcity. When someone is slightly unavailable, your brain releases more dopamine than when they are fully accessible. This is the same neurochemical loop that drives gambling addiction. The most magnetically attractive people understand this instinctively. They never give 100% of their attention, and that gap between desire and fulfillment is what creates obsession. Your voice reveals more about your attractiveness than your face ever could. A study published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior proved that people with lower vocal pitch are perceived as more dominant, confident, and sexually attractive. Men with deeper voices and women with slightly breathier tones trigger subconscious arousal responses in listeners. You are being evaluated in the first 3 seconds of speaking, before a single word even registers meaning. The psychology of eye contact is terrifyingly powerful. Psychologist Arthur Aaron demonstrated that mutual unbroken eye contact for just 4 minutes can generate profound feelings of intimacy between complete strangers. Your brain cannot distinguish between the vulnerability of staring into someone's eyes and the vulnerability of falling in love. It triggers the same oxytocin cascade. This means attraction can be manufactured, and the most socially intelligent people have always known this. Here is where it gets darker. The misattribution of arousal effect proves your brain can be tricked into feeling attraction. In a famous experiment on the Capilano Suspension Bridge, men who met a woman on a terrifying swaying bridge rated her significantly more attractive than men who met her on solid ground. Their fear-induced adrenaline was misinterpreted as romantic excitement. This is why first dates at thrilling locations create stronger connections than dinner at a quiet restaurant. The most underestimated weapon in attraction is the psychology of mirroring. When someone subtly copies your body language, speech patterns, and energy, your subconscious reads it as tribal familiarity, as safety. Neuroscientists have found that mirroring activates mirror neurons that generate a feeling of deep rapport and trust. The most charismatic people on earth do this naturally, and it is the reason you feel instantly connected to certain strangers without understanding why. Let us discuss the forbidden psychology of intermittent reinforcement, the single most addictive pattern in human relationships. When affection is given unpredictably, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, the brain enters a dopamine loop identical to a slot machine addiction. This is why toxic relationships feel so intoxicating and why stable love can feel boring to those wired for chaos. Understanding this pattern is the difference between being emotionally free and being psychologically imprisoned. Your physical posture communicates more about your attractiveness than any words ever could. Harvard researcher Amy Cuddy proved that open, expansive body language increases testosterone and decreases cortisol within just 2 minutes. People who take up space are universally perceived as more confident, more dominant, and more desirable. Closed posture signals submission and fear to the ancient limbic brain, and the limbic brain decides attraction long before logic gets a vote. The peak end rule explains why some people become unforgettable after just one encounter. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman proved that humans judge experiences almost entirely by their most intense moment and how they ended. This means a single electrifying moment near the end of a date can override hours of average conversation. The psychologically savvy understand this. They save their most compelling energy for the final impression, because that is the memory that replays at 2 in the morning. Here is a truth that will disturb you. We are most attracted to people who remind us of our unresolved childhood wounds. Psychologist Harville Hendrix called this the imago, an unconscious image of familiar love built from our earliest caregivers. If love felt anxious in childhood, you will seek partners who recreate that anxiety and call it chemistry. The feeling of falling in love is often your wounded inner child recognizing a familiar pattern of pain disguised as passion. So now you hold the keys to the invisible architecture of human desire. Every technique we discuss today, from scarcity to mirroring to the peak end rule, is already operating in your life whether you are aware of it or not. The question is whether you will remain a puppet of your subconscious programming or become the architect of your own magnetic presence. Subscribe now, because in the next video, we are going even deeper into the psychology that controls everything you feel but cannot see.